So one of the most important features of mediation, if we could say that, is confidentiality. What are your thoughts on this feature of mediation?
I agree with you. I think it is perhaps the most important feature of mediation. It's quite unusual in a legal process to have confidentiality in this way. The whole point about the trial system and arbitration is that communications with the judge or the arbitrator are open, and each side is able to know what the other side has said to the judge or the arbitrator. In mediation, it's different. You can tell the mediator and give the mediator information that you do not want the mediator to disclose to the other side, and that gives the mediator a position of power and influence, but it means the parties have to trust him. And I always take a little bit of time at the start to explain what confidentiality means. And it's quite important, I think, that you do that, because lots of people have different ideas of what confidentiality means. And this is particularly so where you have people from different cultures. What an English person might understand by confidentiality may be entirely different from someone from Spain or perhaps from Asia or somewhere else. And so you have to explain a little bit about how the whole process is off the record. In English, we use the words without prejudice. It means that the courts can't inquire as to what's been said. And the way I put it is, it gives everybody the freedom to be much more open than they would be otherwise if the very fact that there's no formal record being taken of what people say, the fact that they can talk about things that are important and not worry too much about using the wrong words, means that people can be much more open. Now, that's a process. So you start talking about it at the beginning of the day, and you explain to people that the process is confidential and off the record, but it takes a while for them to generally feel comfortable with that. And the interesting information that often leads to the potential for a solution doesn't emerge until much later. And I think one of the roles of the mediator is to create an atmosphere, a sense of security, I think, for the parties, where they feel they can be a bit more open and a bit more honest than might otherwise be the case. But as with so many things in mediation, this is a process. I often feel I have to take people on a journey, and you have to work out where they're at and work out where you're taking them to. And the confidential nature of the proceedings is a very important part, I think, of that journey, and enabling people to feel comfortable, not only with the direction of travel, but also on the fact that you're going with them. And I think sometimes you have to be a bit of a teacher and help them to understand the process, so that very often, and I think this is one of the great privileges of being a mediator, people who were complete strangers at 9:30 in the morning, by 6 o'clock in the evening, are turning to you for advice and asking for your opinion and your thoughts on what they should do. And I just feel enormously privileged to be a part of that process sometimes.